It is said that Devabrata the Great looked up to the sky, witnessed by the spirits of his great ancestors, Satyavaty, Bharata, and Kuru, along with the gods in the sky. Devabrata uttered his oath.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to support us and stay connected with more engaging videos. Once upon a time, in the era of Dwapara Yuga, the third age of the world cycle of yugas, Satya Yuga, Tetra Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, in which humanity shows its first significant decline in righteousness. An age where morality and immorality will coexist equally, and spirituality is deteriorating. In this age, Krishna, an avatar of Vishnu, took birth to establish a Dharma, divine truth or justice. He taught humanity vital lessons to expand their consciousness. He taught about Dharma, responsibility, righteousness, devotion, the essence of life, and fulfilling responsibilities without concern to the outcome, emphasizing unselfish conduct. He played a very important role in this era, with the great epic of Mahabharata taking place. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and an increase in sinfulness, O descendant of Bharata, at that time I manifest myself on earth to protect the righteous, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of Dharma. I appear on this earth, age after age. Weapons cannot shred the soul, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it, nor can the wind dry it. Oh, the best among warriors, fight for the sake of duty, treating alike happiness and distress, loss and gains, victory and defeat. Fulfilling your responsibility, in this way you will never incur sin.
Long before, a catastrophic war in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, a seed of desire to gain supreme power and rule the mighty Kuru Kingdom took birth. The seed was born from a fisherwoman who got her chance to rise from poverty and would do anything to secure her future. Her life goal and ambition was to ensure the succession of Bharata's lineage and inheritance of her fortune by her sons. Despite the Great War was in fact the results of multiple actions and events. But Satyavaty, the queen of Kuru Kingdom, a very powerful and influential woman, and the great-grandmother of Pandavas and Kauravas, sowed the Great War of Mahabharata due to her untamed ambitions and desires. A Game of Thrones, a dynastic succession brawl between two groups of cousins for the throne of Hastinapura.
One day, the king Shantanu entered the forest along the bank of the Yamuna. While roaming in that region, he perceived a sweet aroma coming from an unknown direction. He followed the scent, and while wandering here and there, he came across a woman of heavenly beauty.
Who are you? And whose daughter are you? What are you doing here?
Shantanu asked.
My name is Satyavaty. I am part of the fisherman tribe. My father is the king of the fishermen.
The woman responded. Shantanu was dazed by the beauty of Satyavaty. He asked her father for his hand in marriage. Her father replied,
I am ready to give you my daughter, but on one condition, the son born from my daughter will become your successor.
When Shantanu heard this, he was in a dilemma. He had already made his son Devabrata the crown prince, but he desperately wanted to marry the beautiful fisherwoman. Sorrowfully, he returned to Hastinapura. Shantanu started spending a lot of time in sorrowful meditation. Devabrata wondered why his father was suddenly acting so dejected.
Everything is peaceful. Everyone obeys you. Why then are you acting so melancholy?
Devabrata asked.
You are my only son. If anything happens to you, our entire lineage will cease to exist. I was just thinking about that.
Shantanu replied. Devabrata was confused by his father's vague response. He was intelligent and reflected on his father's words. He felt there was something more than his father had revealed. He then went to the king's chariot driver and questioned him about the cause of the monarch's sullen mood. The charioteer told Devabrata about the fisherman's daughter and the benediction sought by her father. Understanding the situation, Devabrata, accompanied by some of the family elders, went to the fisherman's cottage. The chief of the fishermen greeted Devabrata, offering him a seat. He then informed him in sweet words,
O son of Shantanu, I welcome you, for you are the pride of the Kshatriya race. You are certainly invincible, but I have something to tell you. Even if the future husband of my daughter were to be Indra himself, he would have to lament, for the requirements for marrying Satyavaty applied all. Many sages have told me that your father is the only suitable husband for Satyavaty. I have even rejected the requests of the great rishis in the matter of her marriage. The one great obstacle to this marriage is that you will be crowned king and not the son born of Satyavaty and Shantanu. This is all I have to say in the matter.
Understanding the fisherman's desire, Devabrata meditated on the situation, and wanting to benefit his father, he informed the fisherman,
O fisherman, listen to my vow. There has not been, nor will there ever be born a man who can make this vow. I shall fulfill your request. I take the vow that the son born from Satyavaty and my father shall be king, and I shall relinquish my claim to the throne.
Upon hearing Devabrata's promise, the fisherman, who sought sole sovereignty for Satyavaty's son, said,
This vow that you have taken will certainly come to pass, but I have one doubt that is still in my mind. What will happen to your children? They may also claim the throne.
Devabrata replied,
O chief among fishermen, listen to the vow I shall make in the presence of these assembled elders. I have already relinquished my claim to the throne, and now I shall settle the matter of my descendants. I shall adopt the vow of brahmacharya and agree never to marry.
It is said that Devabrata the Great looked up to the sky. Witnessed by the spirits of his great ancestors, Yuyati, Bharata, and Kuru, along with the gods in the sky. Devabrata uttered his oath.
I am Devabrata, the son of holy Ganga, and the great king of Hastinapura Shantanu, hereby swear I will never be the king of Hastinapura, and dedicate my life to protecting the throne of Hastinapura. I shall remain celibate and never marry. I shall live childless and die childless, until Hastinapura is ruled by a just and wise king. I will not leave this world. This is my eternal oath. Moon and sun may change orbits. The great Himalaya may move even. The promise will remain unchanged.
When the fisherman heard this, he was overjoyed. He instantly told Devabrata that he was prepared to give Satyavaty to Shantanu. Apsaras, gods, and rishis appeared in the sky and showered flowers on Devabrata. They said, resounded in the air. Bhisma means one who undertakes a terrible vow and fulfills it. From then on, Devabrata became known as Bhisma, and he renounced everything, including his rights to his kingdom, marriage, and having children, just for the sake of his father's happiness. Ganga's son then took Satyavaty on the chariot and returned to Hastinapura. When Maharaja Shantanu heard about the oath his son had taken, he was pleased and gave him a benediction.
You shall never experience death as long as you wish to live. Indeed, you will die only when you desire it.
Thus, Satyavaty was married to Maharaja Shantanu, and that glorious king accepted her into his palace and maintained her as she desired. Meanwhile, in the palace, the royal priest had questioned Devabrata about his terrible oath.
"Why did you do so, Crown Prince?"
Devabrata replied,
I swore the oath because not only for the sake of my father's happiness, but also for the sake of Hastinapura. An unhappy king can never make his subjects happy. A king should never be lonely or sad, because if his mind strays, then so be the nation, because it's the king who leads the nation.
Who will be responsible if the unborn prince of Satyavaty is unworthy of the throne?
Bhisma replied,
Look at Hastinapura's fate line and determine that yourself royal priest. But if Bhisma's oath has some value, then today I make a promise to Hastinapura that whoever ascends to the throne, I am the son of Ganga, Devabrata, shall see my father's image in him and serve him with the same devotion throughout.
Hearing Bhisma's promise to continue of serving the throne of Hastinapura, all the Brahmins and warriors shouted his name.
Bhisma! Bhisma! Bhisma!
They saluted the prince with his noble soul and characters. Meanwhile, deep inside his heart, King Shantanu was deeply moved by Bhisma's sacrifice. He told Bhisma,
What kind of a father am I? Helpless and thirst for love, I condemn my ideal son to an eternal thirst. And what kind of a king am I? I've removed a worthy crown prince and placed the future of Hastinapura in the hands of a son who's yet unborn, and about whom no one knows whether he'll worthy or not. By this act, I've gravely insulted my ancestors, son.
Bhisma responded,
Don't burden your heart, king. Had you ordered me to take the oath, you could have blamed yourself. But this oath was on my own doing, and so will be the result. I swore this oath because fathers always sacrifice themselves for their sons. So why shouldn't a son do the same? Your happiness means a lot to me. You are more valuable to me than Hastinapura's throne.
Shantanu then asked Bhisma,
What happens if your brother is not worthy to the throne?
Bhisma replied,
In that case, I will repeat the assurance I gave to Hastinapura, that all my life I shall serve and protect Hastinapura, until it's secure from all dangers and no longer in need for my services. I shall not allow death to claim me.
Hearing this, Shantanu was quite satisfied and said,
A son like you is indeed a blessing on earth as well as heaven.
and hugged his beloved son. The death of Shantanu and Citrangada.
Shantanu and Satyavaty were married in a grand ceremony in Hastinapura. Satyavaty then became the queen of the kingdom. They soon had a son named Citrangada. He was extremely brave and valiant. They also had a second son named Vichitravirya, who became a mighty bowman. By this point, Shantanu was nearing the end of his lifetime. Soon Maharaja Shantanu found himself growing old, and seeing the influence of inevitable time, he decided to retire to the forest to practice austerities for realizing the kingdom of God. Before entering the forest, Maharaja Shantanu enthroned Citrangada as the world's king under Bhisma's protection. He then departed to the forest alone to perform penances and austerities. Maharaja Shantanu soon became absorbed in trance and realized his original relationship with the Lord in the kingdom of God. When his meditation upon the Lord's transcendental form was unbroken, he ascended to the spiritual world. After Shantanu's death, Citrangada became king of Hastinapura. He was very brave, powerful, and afraid of nobody. He soon challenged and eliminated all opponents on the planet Earth. Indeed, all the earthly kings considered that there was no kshatriya equal to him. Nevertheless, in the heavenly planets, there lived a Gandharva king whose name was also Citrangada. Upon hearing that an earthly being bore his name and was considered invincible, he challenged the son of Satyavaty. There then took place on the field of Kurukshetra a battle that endured for a full 3 years. Both Citrangadas were powerful, and the battle was fierce, but in the end the Kuru prince was slain. The king of the Gandharvas then ascended to the heavenly planets satisfied at heart. After the death of his stepbrother, Bhisma performed the last funeral rites and then enthroned Vichitravirya as the world's emperor, although he was only a small boy. Until Vichitravirya matured in age, Bhisma ruled the kingdom. Maharaja Bhisma took care of Vichitravirya like a father, arranging for the education and military training of the future king. When Maharaja Bhisma saw that Vichitravirya was of marriageable age, he thought of obtaining a queen for him. At this time he heard that in the kingdom of Kashi, 3 daughters were being offered in marriage. These princesses had heavenly beauty, and it was known that they were to select their own husbands. Bhisma went alone in his chariot to the city of Varanasi, and there he saw countless monarchs who had assembled hoping to wed one of the princesses. The names of those beautiful girls were Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika.
From the ancient story of Devabrata, there are several moral messages. Selflessness instead of selfish. Devabrata's sacrifice was selfless and intended to uphold Dharma and family harmony. Keeping promises. Bhisma was known for his ability to keep his promises. Importance of family. Emphasizes the importance of family and the love it brings. Act of sacrifice. Bhisma taught us regarding the acts of sacrifice. Charity and penances are important and should be performed. True renunciation is about performing duties with devotion and detachment, not abandoning them. Lessons learned from the story of Shantanu and Satyavaty. Human weaknesses. The story shows that the people have weaknesses and limitations that can be difficult to correct. Satyavati's vanity and Shantanu's old desires reflect the weakness of humans. Learning from mistakes. The wise don't regret the past or worry about the future, but instead learn from their own mistakes and strive to do what is right. People are mortal and don't live long enough to see the consequences of their actions. Let us continue to embark on a journey through time to explore the origins of this timeless epoch. The story of mankind, the story of Dharma.